Hello. It is your girl Kiera Shanice, and you are here on Nisi Says. And welcome back for the ones that watch before. And if you are new here, welcome to the family. I hope you guys enjoy this season of All American. I am enjoying reviewing it. So we are going to go ahead and get into this review of what are we on? Season 3, episode 3. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so the episode starts off with Coach Montez, if I'm not mistaken, Coach Montez. She is actually riding Jordan's butt. They are having this scrimmage game, and she is riding it. She's not having it. She's not having it, baby. You are going to work for it, okay? We have Asher on the sidelines, and lo and behold, Vanessa, she walks up and she obviously has something that she wants to discuss with her mom. Who knows? But anyway, Asher, he's still on the sidelines. He is talking to JJ. We gotta love JJ. He's my favorite jock. Anyway, he's talking to JJ, and he looks over and we kind of see Vanessa giving him the hungry eyes, okay? And and I personally think Asher is feeling Vanessa just as much as she's feeling him. Okay, so over at Crenshaw High School, we got poor Darnell. He is riding the bench. He's riding the bench. He's over there looking so sad and pitiful. I feel so bad for him right now. But he's riding the bench, and Spencer and Chris are actually, butting heads out on the field. They have their little back and forth and whatnot. And, at this point, guys, the tension is so freaking thick. You can just feel it oozing through the screen. I can feel it. It's very intense, and I love it. So Coach Baker brings in one of his old QB1 or QB teammates from when he was in the NFL, pretty much. An old friend from the NFL. He brings him in, and he's giving the guys this inspirational speech. I'm guessing it's supposed to be an inspirational speech because, as we know, they have their first big game coming up. So they are really trying to get ready for that. And he's giving this little inspirational speech about trust and respect. And as teammates, we have to trust and respect one another in order to win games and win championships. And I agree with him. Next, we have Coach Baker, and he actually pulls Darnell to the side. He pulls him into his office, and he wants to know what's going on because he thinks that Darnell has some, mixed feelings about him being, well, he does have some mixed feelings about him being the second string quarterback. When he, initially he came into this thing thinking that he would be starting with Spencer's dad name, Corey James. Okay, so and pretty much Darnell is, his main concern is, he has a scholarship with UCLA and they are going to be at the game. And he's like, what if they pull my scholarship if they see me riding the bench? And Coach Baker, he interjects and he lets them know, well, that's not going to happen because I actually told them not to come.
What? You what? You what now?
Yes, he said he told them not to come. And you can imagine that Darnell was, he wasn't feeling that at all. So, and Billy Baker, he assures Darnell that everything that he does it with the best interest of his players in mind. And Darnell, he claps back and he says, no, like, I really don't feel like you doing that. You did that in my best interest. Corey James had my best interest at heart, and that's something that he would have never done. Okay, so now we are back at Beverly High School, and we have Miss Simone. She's looking all cute and youthful in her little peach like sundress thingy she has on. It is so cute. She has her natural hair out. It is gorgeous, bomb, and it looks like it is just flourishing, okay? And anyway, so we have Simone. She's at school and she actually runs into Layla, right? Layla, Spencer's girlfriend. And they come up with this scheme, this bonehead scheme to actually get Spencer and Jordan back on speaking terms. Okay, so Layla, she suggests that Simone invite her and Spencer to her and Jordan, to Simone and Jordan's date night, and they will call it a double date, but they won't tell the guys. And while they're talking about this great idea, they run into Vanessa in the hallway. And Vanessa, she, she's really excited because she's made a new friend. She's new here. So she walks up to Layla and she invites her to hang out after school. And Layla says, wait for it. Layla tells this girl that she has lots of schoolwork to do after school. And I'm like, schoolwork, Layla? Out of all the things that you could have said, schoolwork, you may well just told the girl to like, really? Schoolwork? And Vanessa is kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll see you around then. And she, kind of walks off. And I feel bad for her in this moment because Layla, she could have said something else. Like, schoolwork? Really? Come on, girl. Okay, so now we are back in the hood at Crenshaw, and we have Coop. She's walking somewhere. She always walking somewhere. Anyway, so she's walking, and from a distance, she sees Mo, and Mo is, she's having apparently some type of conversation with some of the local gang members. And from where Coop is looking, that conversation looks pretty intense. So that kind of gets her, her spidey senses all perked up, and she, she wants to know what's going on. So as she gets closer, they disperse, they walk off, and she catches up to one of the guys, and she, she wants to know like what's going on, what Mo had to say. And pretty much this guy, he told her, he was like, look, if she didn't ask you to be here, then you should probably just stay out of it. And I agree. Okay? Because Coop, she working my nerves. Okay, so now we have Spencer, and he is at one of the local restaurants in his community, if I'm not mistaken. And, right off bat, the owner, this guy, he is just doing way, way too much. Spencer walks in and he calls Spencer out by his full name, Spencer James. And everybody is just looking, and Spencer was like, oh shit, what did I do? And anyway, he's like, Spencer James. And Spencer was like, yeah, I just want some chips. And he was like, Spencer James don't wait in no line. I mean, just being real extra, telling people to get out the way, and just really being extra. And he's doing all of this because what? Because he thinks Spencer can help Crenshaw High win the state title? Like, really? Is it really that serious? Anyway, moving on. So Spencer is there. He actually is there to meet up with Darnell and actually kind of apologize because Darnell thinks he, threw him under the bus. And we all know he didn't do that. So they get down to the bottom of that. Okay, so now we are back at Crenshaw in Coach Baker's office. And his NFL buddy, he comes in and they're talking about, Jordan. And Billy is really concerned about not being there for Jordan on his, for his first game. And pretty much his friend tells him, Jordan, he's going to be fine. You pretty much just have to have faith in him and have faith in yourself and trust that everything's going to work out the way it should work out. And you probably should focus on your own team. Let's switch it on over to the James residence. We are at the James residence and we have Coop and Spencer. And Spencer is pretty much telling Coop that he feels, he's really feeling the pressure and he feels like he may not be up to par, physically to, and Spencer is telling Coop that he may not be the old Spencer James that everybody is counting on to, win the championship. And he's really just concerned about his arm. And Coop assures him, she's like, what are you talking about, Spencer? Like, all of the best doctors in the country have looked at your arm and they say you're fine. Like, dude, relax. You're gonna be fine. And he was like, I guess you're right. And he asks Coop, what she's been up to lately. And she goes to tell him that she actually saw Mo in the neighborhood and she was talking to a few of the rival gang members. And Spencer was, he was like, maybe she's here to help clean up the community. And if she is up to something, what exactly does that have to do with you, being that you are not a part of that gang life anymore? And that's the same question I got, Spencer. Why is she so invested in this lady? Like, Tyrone is dead. This lady appears to be legit and, wants to help out. So at this point, I think Coops just needs to chill out and let whatever play out, play out. Now we are at the Baker's residence. Asher and Olivia, they are having their cute little date night. And baby, Asher, he jumps right into it. He wants to talk about Summer. He wants to, I'm thinking he wants to confess because I kind of feel like, this whole Vanessa thing is really weighing on him. And Olivia kind of knows that if he confesses, she's probably going to spill her guts about whatever happened with her and Spencer. So, to divert the attention off of her, we see Jordan. He comes downstairs. He's all dressed up. Remember, he has that date with Simone. And she's like, Jordan, why you all dressed up? And he was like, and she was like, oh, can we come? And Asher's looking like, I thought we were going to watch the movie. And Olivia's like, well, we already know how it ends. We can just make it a double date. It'll be cute. And Jordan is like, okay, whatever. So they proceed to leave and go to the restaurant. And Asher, he senses that something is really off with Olivia. And right now, it's really got me thinking what the heck did they do this summer? Like, damn, did they kill somebody? Like, really? Anyway, moving on, we have the crew at the little cafe where Spencer and Jordan, the little intervention for them is supposed to take place. Spoiler alert, that plan went down the shitter, okay? It went down the drain before it even became a turd, okay? Anyway, Jordan, he peeped that Spencer was in the building before he even walked in, and he was like, hold up, like, what's going on? I'm not doing this. He proceeds to turn around and he's gone. He's gone back home. He bounced, okay? He didn't even text Simone to let her know that he was gone. You hear me? And Olivia, she was trying to cover for him, but it was like blatantly, obviously, And Olivia, she was trying to cover for him at this point, but it was like blatantly, obviously obvious that, he didn't want to be there and he dipped out on them. And if that doesn't make the night awkward, dun 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 dun, guess who walks in? It is the new girl, Vanessa, and she has her date, JJ. Yes, the new girl and JJ are on a date and they show up at the cafe. And remember, Layla, she told Vanessa that she had schoolwork to do, but she had a group date. How convenient is that? And we have the guys, they're playing a game of foosball, and JJ, he is just totally smitten with Vanessa. He is talking about he's in love. And, Spencer is like, okay, whatever floats your boat, dude, have fun with that. And Asher is like, dude, you don't even know her, kind of giving him the third degree. And I think Spencer kind of picks up on it, but he doesn't really say anything about it. And now we switch back over to Olivia. She is low key but high key stalking Asher and Vanessa from across the room. And Layla, she walks up and she's like, you do know that if you want them to not know that you know what happened this summer, maybe we should kind of stop looking over there. And furthermore, why are you not telling him that you know what went on? Like, why are you giving him this power over you? Like, what's going on? And so Olivia, she's about to, explain, and she sees Spencer walking up, and she kind of gets a little tense, and she's like, I have my reasons, and she kind of, hurries off. And we have Big Mouth Layla, girl. She just go ahead and spills all the beans about Asher and Olivia and what happened about over the summer with Vanessa. And Spencer is kind of taken back, and I got a feeling, Spencer is in his feelings because he didn't know that Olivia and Asher were a thing over the summer. So we're gonna get into that a little bit later. Okay, now we have Coop being annoying and hard headed as usual. She has met up with a gang member, from the opening scene with Mo, and pretty much she meets up with him, and she's kind of like trying to pressure him into getting information about what happened earlier that day with Mo. And he finally breaks down and tells her, he's like, look, the news is going to get out anyway. Mo, the cops arrested the guy that shot Spencer. And she's like, what, who snitched? And he was like, look, I don't know what happened, but she's actually out here looking out for the community. And, tell Spencer that the community is looking out for him. We got his back. And Coop, she's just, this is the face. This is like, this is the only look. This is her sad look. This is her surprise look. This is her mad look. Like, girl, get over yourself. Get out of here. Okay, we are back at date night at the restaurant, and we have JJ and Vanessa. He is stuffing his face to death like a freaking hamster with some wings, and poor Vanessa. It is clear that she is just not really into him. Poor girl, she is new to town and she just wants to make some friends, and JJ just happened to be free that night. And speaking of friends, we got little Miss Layla. She's gonna scoot her little butt over there and try to apologize, because remember, she done told this girl a bold-faced lie saying that she had schoolwork to do. So she came over, she tried to explain, and Vanessa was like, girl, you don't owe me no explanation. Layla being Layla, she wanted to explain. And, to make up for it, she actually, extended an invitation for them to hang out this weekend. So we'll see what happens on that. Okay, here we go again. We got Coop. She done took her meddling ass over there to the Baker's residence, and she is over there pressuring Mrs. Baker about information on Spencer's case. She want to know who shot him, who shot ya, did somebody snitch? And Mrs. Baker is like, look, all I can tell you is that, the suspect is in hand and he turned himself in, and pretty much that's all I can say. And, pretty much telling her what everybody else has been telling her, to just stay out of it, leave it alone, because, like, what you know one gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? Okay, okay, okay. Now we are finally getting into the thick of it all, baby. Spencer and Olivia, they finally address what happened in Vegas. Let's get into it. Okay, so Spencer, he is playing pool. Olivia walks up and she's like, let me break or something like that. Whatever the pool terminology is. And she goes to, break or whatever you want to call it. And Spencer lets her know that he knows about Asher and Vanessa in Mexico. And he also wants to know why she never told him that she went to see Asher after she left him in Vegas. Left him in Vegas, y'all. So you know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And Olivia, she claps back and she says, well, I don't remember you telling me about you and Layla getting back together right after I left you in Vegas, so scores even. And he was like, you know what, touche, touche. And, they're over there talking. The conversation is getting, kind of heavy. And Spencer, he tells Olivia he just wants her to be happy. And I think Olivia, she wants to be happy too. And I think we all know what's going to make her happy. And she looks to Spencer and she asks him the question, what about you? Are you happy? And all the while, we have Layla. She's, watching from a distance. Something in her spirit just ain't sitting right with, what she's seeing right now. But we're going to get into that a little bit later on in the episode. It is getting good. It's getting good. Oh, it is cooking now. So we have Layla. She is dropping Spencer back off at his home. And, she just comes right on out and says, that, first she asks, is he mad about, her trying to, set him and Jordan up? And he was like, no, I'm not mad. And then she goes on to say, then, well, what's really going on? I can tell something is bothering you. And he, goes to try to lie and say, nothing's going on. And she's like, is it Olivia? And he's like, Olivia, why would you say that? He was, and Layla, she was like, well, I saw you guys talking tonight. And she was, kind of letting him know, I know you guys are like family. And the look on his face already let me know that him and Layla have crossed the line that they cannot go back from. Anyway, so Layla, she's like, I know you guys are like family, but sometimes I feel like you confide in her a little bit too much. Like, more than me, and I'm your actual girlfriend. And Spencer, he's really feeling the pressure, so he has to do something. So what does Spencer James do? He lies. Well, I can't really say if it's a lie or not because he is having problems with his arm, but he already knows that it's nothing physical. So I'm going to say he lied. Yeah, he lied. He told that girl that something was wrong with his arm and that he is under the pressure. He's telling the truth, but lying low key. And telling her, that he's under the pressure of, he got the weight of Crenshaw on his back. Everybody is looking at Spencer James to help Crenshaw High School win that state title. And he, he's really just feeling the pressure right now. And Layla, she assures him that, she's in it for the long run. Whatever they have to get through, they'll get through it together. And Spencer, he's like, what, thank you. But deep down, I can tell that it is really eating away at him that he just lied. And Spencer, I am very disappointed in you. Grace didn't raise you like that. She didn't. Anyway, so we are back at Crenshaw High School. It is time for the big game. And we have Coop again. Yes, Coop. And she is still on this Mo crap. Okay. Like, this couldn't wait till after the game. Like, was it really that deep? And she is actually calling Spencer out of the locker room just to tell him that Mo somehow helped find the guy that shot him, which should be good news. She should be happy that the man is off the streets. But no, not Coop. She has all these crazy conspiracy theories about Mo threatening people. And I don't know about y'all, but Mo does not look that scary to me. Okay, so I'm like, Coop, hold your horses, girl. And Spencer, he kind of, flips out on her a little bit. And rightfully so, because, like, this is what you calling him out for when you already know all the stuff that he has on his plate. This is what you're concerned about, really. And he lets her know, like, I got bigger and better things to be thinking about. I don't have time for you and your conspiracy theories right now. And she's sitting there doing her Coop face. Anyway, moving on. She tripping big time. Okay, so now we are back at Beverly High School. I'm assuming this must be after the game. And, obviously what went on this summer is weighing heavily on Asher's heart. And he just opens up. He spills out everything. He tells Olivia about everything. He tells her that He knew Vanessa before she came to school. He tells about this summer that they connected, and Olivia was like, "Is connected code word for, connected?" And he was like, "No, we didn't do anything like that. It was just on a deeper level, nothing physical or sexual." And Olivia, she plays it cool. I'm not gonna lie, she plays it cool. She was like, "You know what? Thank you for telling me. I understand this summer was weird for me as well. And, we were kind of like, not really together all the way. So, whatever happened this summer, let bygones be bygones." And Asher was like, he was actually, and we all know that she was saying this because she begged Spencer in Vegas. We all know that's the only reason why Sis was so cool when he confessed to her. Anyway, the big game. Crenshaw is having their first game and the pressure is on. Do you hear me? So Spencer, he is sitting there and suddenly that arm, it goes numb. And he's having flashbacks of the shooting. He just keeps seeing this black car. And then eventually he grabs that arm, and to his surprise, he can feel it. And y'all, it's a miracle. His PTSD from getting shot and all of that just magically went away in like 3.2 seconds. It's a miracle. Yeah, congratulations. Okay, so we got CB1 Chris Jackson. He is really bombing. I mean, really, really bombing out there on the field. And remember he got injured last season, so I think that kind of messed him up, and we're going to see how that affects his playing in this game. Okay, so this fool, I'm not even going to call him a fool. Chris, he out there trying to show out and do tricks and this, that, and the third, and end up fumbling the ball. The other team got it. They done made another touchdown. So now we are in the second quarter, and the opposing team is up by 2 touchdowns, I think. I don't watch sports, y'all. I'm just, correct me if I'm wrong. But they are up by 2 touchdowns. And we're back in the locker, and Billy Baker, he is pissed. He is upset because he's like, what is going on? Something is not right. You guys are not playing like a team out there. I need y'all to get y'all together so we can go ahead on and win this thing. And he lets everybody know that he's going to be putting Darnell in for QB1, and he's going to be bitching Chris for the next half of the game. And, Chris is kind of feeling some type of way, but, he goes with it. And we get out there on the field. Let me tell you, Darnell, when they said, I ain't got to get ready because I stay ready. Darnell, him and Spencer, they were just great on the field. They are a dynamic duo together, and together they are unstoppable. Do you hear me? They're playing the game. They're doing, they're doing their thing. They Spencer and Darnell thing. So we are down to the winning point, and Crenshaw has the ball. They're going to do a kick a field goal, and they missed. When I tell y'all, I was so mad and I was so upset for them, and I was mad at Chris because I feel like it was his fault for trying to flex on Darnell and do his own thing on the field. And I feel like if he hadn't got them behind like that in the first, in the first half of the game, they could have won that because they lost by 1 point. Okay, so after the game, we have Spencer and Layla. They're just talking, and she, brings up, the topic of therapy. And she was telling Spencer that she kind of looked up his symptoms, and she suggested that he go to therapy. She actually found a great sports therapist for him to talk to, and he actually agreed to, go and talk to somebody, which is great for him. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, y'all, so we are back at Beverly High School, and Coach Montez, she is in the locker room, and she is giving it to him. And, I'm assuming that they lost the game at this point, and I'm like, oh, dang, they lost. And she's really giving it to him. She was like, that was an embarrassment. That was an embarrassment. You guys are not playing like a team. You guys lack leadership and, kind of throwing shots and most of the blame on Jordan because he is the captain slash QB1. And quite frankly, I agree with her. He does not have his team in line the way that a captain should. And she walks off, and then we have the guys, they're trying to celebrate because they feel like they won. And I'm assuming the team they won against must have been trash because the coach was like, we not celebrating that win. You guys sucked. And the guys, they're in there celebrating, and JJ, he's trying to get them all crunk up. And Jordan was like, no, we are not celebrating. We are not celebrating. The coach was right. You guys, we did not play like a team out there. The coach wants y'all here at 7 o'clock in the morning for practice. I want y'all here by 6. And anybody that got a problem with it, you can turn in your jerseys. And he said what he said. And he walked off. And the coach, she was back in the cut. And she was looking like, maybe I was wrong about him. Switch scenes. We have Asher, and he is on the phone. He calls up Vanessa, and right now she is just totally over him. She is not feeling it. She don't want to hear nothing. She wants to know what happened to the guy that she met in Mexico, and not this shell of a person that is on her phone right now. And Asher, he admits to Vanessa on the phone that he told Olivia about him and her this summer. And he told her that, surprisingly, she was cool with it and she wants, the summer to be behind us. And Vanessa, she was like, well, if I was Olivia and she was that girl this summer and I was your girlfriend, I would not be okay with what happened this summer. And furthermore, maybe the reason why she's okay with whatever happened this summer is because she has some secrets of her own. I think I'm starting to like you, Vanessa. Girl, you putting 2 and 2 together and making 4. So, I like you, girl. Okay, so we wrap this episode up with, we have Spencer and Darnell. They're walking home from the game and they're just so pumped up. They're talking about how they killed it on the field and they make a great team. And Spencer was kind of feeling down about losing the game, and Darnell was like, look, that's the last game we gonna lose. And Spencer was like, you know what, I'm with you with that. And so they approach, the James's residence, and we have 2 military personnel on Spencer's porch, and we all know what that means. Something to happen. And the only person that's in the military, it is Darnell's mom. So they actually, address Darnell and they tell him that his mom has been in an accident of some sort and it appears to be bad. So we gonna see what happens in the next episode with Darnell's mom and what's going on with her. So that's it for episode 3, you guys. And I actually enjoyed reviewing this episode. We actually got into the thick of it all. We are getting into the meat and potatoes of the cluster that happened this summer. So I'm excited to review the next episode and actually, get more in depth into this whole Spencer and Olivia thing. So if you guys like this review, hit the like button, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.